Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Are We Clear Yet? Well, seeking clarity through dialogue is how we move. I'm in the room with a couple of my bros, Dub and Al. Al, how you feeling today?
Pretty good, man. Two things I learned this week: that my pen is huge and my brother is home. Great week.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We care about the latter more so than the former. Dub, how you doing, man?
Good for sure.
But the former is important. Not as important as the latter. The former is
pause.
important.
Hey, pause.
Pause. Hey, yo. And welcome home. Welcome home to
Yes.
to the brother. I'm not sure if we're allowed to say his name right now, but welcome home. We know who he is, and we are looking forward to
Welcome back. Welcome back.
to the welcome home party. We are definitely looking forward to that. I will be jumping in my car and making that 3.5 hour drive for that one. But,
Baby hand rubs.
Yes. But no, I'm doing good, man. Listen, you see my hat? Listen, this is another day closer to September. Listen, we're getting ready to embark on probably the worst part of summer when basketball season ends and training camps begins. And that's when I usually take my social media break. But every day is a day closer to football season.
Not a bad idea.
And another day closer to God.
Facts.
True.
Hey, but what you got against golf and lacrosse, man? That's some good sports.
Man, you know what? Listen, I've heard that those two sports are actually fun to play. You wouldn't catch me sitting down watching them, but I wouldn't mind actually playing them, you know. I heard they're actually both pretty fun to play once you kind of get into it. But also
That's
like
what-
an expensive habit. The golf is expensive, I heard.
That's what she said.
Hey, you.
That's what
Speaking of she, y'all, we have a very special guest that are going to be joining us today. And we're going to see her on the other side of this. Stay tuned. I didn't lie to you. We got our good friend, Lisa Pat, in the building today. First and foremost, let's give her like a good old round of applause right now, y'all. Can we give her a round of applause? Here we go. Real loud, real big. He deserves it. There's no one like her. She's not going to like this. I got a little intro to read for her. Shawnette Patterson-Lewis, CEO and founder, Scarlett Rose Health and Wellness. She's a board-certified family nurse practitioner, over 2 decades of experience in clinical care, transplant medicine, preventative wellness. She is your go-to for IV vitamin hydration therapy to medically help you out with supervised weight loss, men's health optimization, testosterone replacement therapy. Easily one of the funniest women you'll ever meet. The biggest smile in the room. A dependable friend. We call her Lisa Pat. Lisa Pat's in the place to be. Lisa, greet us. Greet
How
us.
is everyone doing? I'm so glad that you guys had brought me on this platform for such a time as this. So wagwan, everybody. Wagwan. Things.
Pen is huge.
I'm glad your pen is huge, Al. I hope you can use the pen.
Oh,
I have not had any complaints about the ink.
All right. Okay. My job is to help it keep on flowing.
I like that.
I'm speaking about, before we get to any of those things, Lisa,
Yes.
what made you get into healthcare? I mean, what pulled you into that industry?
Well, to be quite honest with you, let me just break it down to the smallest and the teeniest, minute detail, if I can, because you know me talk Oli, right?
Go
So
for it.
as a child growing up, I was a very sickly child. I was very ill as a child growing up, and hospitals were like my mainstay. And so ever since then, I was quite an intelligent child, as my mom used to tell me, because I got so used to the hospital setting. And my mom also was an example to me. She was a community health nurse. So I saw her in the community. I just saw how she impacted drug dealers to the highest
Come on.
of high, the middle class. She went all across the board. So everybody know Patty P daughter, right? So if since then, innocently, that's all I knew in my house was healthcare. And because of my own illness growing up, I had asthma, just in case anybody wants to know, that was my illness, right? And back in Jamaica, we didn't have advanced technologies as we have here. And so my only treatment was to be in the hospital. So that kind of grew with me, and that's all I knew. And I just wanted to take care of people. And I have dedicated all my time. Life has passed me by some because of my dedication to this profession and discipline. but I have no regrets. So that's how I came into healthcare.
Are
In a
you
sense,
implying that you're a workaholic and you take this very seriously?
I am a workaholic, not physical workaholic. I think it's more mental. I think I have taken an approach to healthcare that others may not. I bring my work home with me, which is maybe not the best thing to do, but I can confidently tell you for the 24 years I've been a nurse, either at the bedside or in my role now as a provider, I have never had one regret from a patient. I have never done ill or harm to a patient that caused me to like, damn, I shouldn't have done that last night.
Mm-hmm.
Never. And as a provider, I still carry that energy to the bedside. So all those nurses who might be watching this podcast, who knows me, know that, listen, she's transparent. She keeps it 100 and my patients are first. So I don't have friends at work. I have friends outside of work.
I love that. And what made you've worked in traditional healthcare, what made you want to make the switch? And we're going to get into all that you do specifically in the services that you provide. What made you want to get into the entrepreneurial space as far as S Rose?
Well, as far as S Rose, you know, that was a tribute to my late mom. You know, it's kind of hard talking about it. However, I'm going to try to do my best because you want her legacy to live on, seeing that she was such an integral part of our lives. I mean, when I say or, me and my brother. So my brothers. So we came together and we're like, you know, Lisa, my bigger brother, who is a entrepreneur himself, he's like, listen, I manage huge companies, healthcare industries. And what you do is like, listen, I've seen police officers in their homes making millions of dollars. Now he's the accountant, so he's putting the money side of it. He's like, why aren't you doing it? So I said, you know what? I'm more of the care person. He's like, listen, care not pay your bills, baby. And I have seen how you help other people. Why not try to do something like this? And I said, you know what? Maybe I could do that. So it's almost like you're going to be like a for-profit organization because you just can't give you a free service like that. And I'm doing that right now. But anyways, long story short, we came together, me and my brother, and in honor of my mom's legacy and for her name to still remain resounding, we formed Scarlett Rose Health and Wellness. My mom's name is Carol Scarlett. She loved roses, right?
Yeah.
And so we came up with Scarlett Rose, put them together. So yeah, that's how Scarlett Rose was formed. It was a family, you know, all put together. Me as the core and my brothers around me.
No, I love it. Fellas, y'all can jump in. I got a lot of questions, so y'all boys jump in.
Yeah, so I mean, so go ahead and just kind of expound. What do you do?
My services?
Your services for Scarlett Rose. Go ahead, run this down for us.
I started off doing, to be honest, Scarlett Rose was actually COVID testing, right? When COVID was going around, and a whole heap of money people are make, you understand? And I'm like, let's do Scarlett Rose COVID testing. It was a long name. And eventually I stopped it because I wasn't getting any benefits. What I mean by benefits, I'm not talking monetary wise, because you know how people was making money around that time for COVID, right? But that did not exemplify me as a healthcare provider. That was not me shining in what I knew I could do. So I was like, that quieted real quick. And then, of course, we resurged with Scarlett Rose as the DBA now. So what I do is IV vitamin hydration, medically managed weight loss. I am starting testosterone replacement therapy, and really, I love men's health. That is the core of my being, is men's health, right? Because I like men, like I do. I grew up around guys.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I love men. I do. So I grew up around guys all my life. I never had much women friends. I always talk about my two brothers. So they were the ones who really grounded me. So men's health just seemed like the way to go for me. So it's a primary care practice that I'm trying to establish here, or have established. Let me make a correction here. But IV vitamin hydration is what I really, really started to do. And I love it. I believe in it because I'm in healthcare. I've seen the benefits of it in the hospital. So why not take the hospital to you? Right at your doorsteps, your health, your way. So there you go. And I love it.
Maybe give me and give us 3 to 4 primary benefits of the IV
hydration therapy. Okay, so think about it like this. Have you ever been to the hospital before and you were laying in the bed like knockout and the doctors came and just give you one bag of IV fluids and then you
Change
just
your
perk
life.
up like, what?
Yeah.
You feel good. And he did nothing. What he did was he woke up some cells that were a little bit dehydrated, lacked some energy, needed some mitochondria to keep it pumping. And that's all he did, right? And you go home like, Mom, go to the doctor, Mom, give me some IV fluids. I'm good. Really, he gave you some hydration fluids, right? So if we went back to science and we talk about the mitochondria and the cell, we talk about the cytoplasm of the cell, we talk about the fluids inside the cell, outside the cell. When things get dry, osmosis occurs, the water goes out or it comes in. There's a whole science, right? That takes place then. So we talk about later about that. So what are the benefits? I'll give you 3 benefits. So one, I just told you about it, one. If you're getting something intravenously, it works almost immediately. Right? You're getting it directly through your bloodstream. It bypasses what we call the first pass effect. What is the first pass effect? When you eat something, it goes down, down, down. It starts to get broken down into your mouth first. If you eat carbohydrates, like for example, if you put a piece of bread in your mouth, right? What happens with the piece of bread you put in your mouth? After a while, it gets sweet, right? You ever try that? Later on to that. Get a piece of bread, unsweetened bread, a piece of bread, leave it in your mouth or crackers for a little bit, maybe 5-10 minutes. After a while, it starts to become sweet. Why? Because the food process, digestion starts in the mouth. So your food starts to break down the carbohydrates into sugar because enzymes start to work on it, on the substrate, which is the piece of bread, right? So digestion starts there. But your belly's still not full, right? It doesn't name out, the belly not full. It have to go down. Then it goes to your stomach. Then it goes to your liver. The liver has to process it, metabolize it, all type of something. Then it goes to your intestine. Then it goes to your body, and then you poop it out where you don't need. Whole heap process that, right? Intravenously, I'm giving you the rawest form of the minerals or the vitamins. So if you're eating a piece of chicken, I'm giving you the protein in your hand. I'm giving you amino acids, right? Straight. Break it down. If you need some energy, you don't have to drink them power aid that you go in the store. I'm giving it to you right in your vein. Yeah. You're getting it right back. Or intramuscularly. So those are some of the benefits of it. And it's just not giving you vitamins. There are minerals, right? Magnesiums. We have manganese. We have copper. We have zinc. That's good for your prostate. So when people just talk broadly about vitamins, hydration, like what she are talking about, So it's not just that. We have coenzymes, which are great. We talk about NAD+, glutathione. Listen, we could go real deep into how these coenzymes, amino acids actually help your body. And for example, people who are diabetics who have insulin resistance, some of these coenzymes that I give, like L-taurine or glutathione, helps with insulin resistance, helps your body to become more sensitive to sugars so you can actually use it properly in the right way. So there are just so many different benefits that if I started into it more, listen, it would take up this entire podcast, but we can do a talk drip to me session. Al, I started my first talk drip to me at your place. It was great. I wish we could do it another time so we can actually educate us. Let me see us Black people. Let me say it out, so Black people, because we have this thing about going to the backyard and go pick some moringa or some verbine, and call it verbine, something like that, right? Am I saying there are not any nutritional benefits to that? Absolutely. But if you're going to drop out bourbon and go help you go to the doctor and then put a little IV in you and you feel good. I'm bringing that to you.
Lisa, I'm hearing a slight accent in your voice. Are you of West Indian descent by chance?
Yes, like your shirt, bro. Yes, we have to mix it up, right? Yeah.
Listen, Dean, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to say we might need some subtitles on this one.
I'm going to love when the captions are going to be very fun. Trust me.
No, like the movie.
These are inferred context. If anybody listens, trust me. If you're listening to the content being presented, you don't even have to have an interpreter. You will definitely know exactly what I'm saying.
They might be so enamored by your charismatic accent. It just might just be washing over them.
No, because listen, I had some American friends try to watch the movie Shatas.
Oh.
I'm I'm glad Shatas have its own little subtitles. I'm glad. So we may need some some subtitles on this one. Dean,
I'm gonna tell
That's
you this.
true. That's true. Al, jump in, boy.
You know, it's not that bad. Come on, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
I was still stuck at the bedside things you did earlier. But listen, whoa, what's that? So in terms of like the IV thing, like, and I'm probably gonna put a little bit of promo for you, but how would someone reach out to you? Do you have Instagram? Do you have Facebook? Like what? How do you promote yourself so people can know that I do this and you can get it from me?
Yes. So my Instagram is at @srosehealth, @srosehealth, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And my telephone number is 305-504-7041.
Wait. Are you single? Because you giving out your phone number on.
Like what? What's
This is the business phone number. That's not my personal.
Okay.
The business
Making sure.
number.
All right, cool.
The whole world can call the business number.
All right, let's do it. Let's make it happen. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So in terms of okay, so you do the IV therapy. You also check men in terms of improving their overall health. What are some of the basic things a man can do to improve his overall health?
Okay. Stay healthy.
Okay,
and let's narrow it even more. Lisa, let's narrow this even a little bit more. We're all here in our 40s, maybe early 50s. I want you to hone in on that period of a man's life, what he's doing, what he's ingesting, what he's doing in his day-to-day that will possibly or potentially detrimentally impact his health. But what can he do to improve his day-to-day health as well?
Okay, so when was the last time any of you don't you have to answer this? When was the last time you actually went into a physician's office to get checked? Have your lab work done? To have a physical examination, right? That's very important, right? Again, there's a lot of stigma amongst Black men, right? We don't want to get our prostates checked, okay? So your prostate has to be checked if you're over 45 years old. It's called colorectal. So we actually have to insert this little bad boy here. You probably might feel good too, because you have stimulation up there too. So you might have some things that make you feel good while we do the exam. That's the truth, right? So
when she did that one right there, I was like, what does this do?
We go up and we find it. We do a prostate massage to make sure the prostate is not boggy. It doesn't have any irregularities around there. It's supposed to be nice and round and smooth and a little spongy. It's not supposed to have irregular borders, right? We need to do that. So we're going to start you at 45 years old. I'm not sure. Maybe Dean, not there yet. Or
close.
Jay, not there yet.
I'm inching closer. Inching close.
We need to start, right? And younger if for example, you do have family history of any type of prostate abnormalities, right? So those things are very important to do. In the meantime, you can do things with prostate health. What are you talking about, prostate health? Okay, get yourself some supplements, right? Get some zinc, right? Zinc is really good for the prostate health. They talk about saw palmetto, some stuff, you can go to the county and get that if you want to. Hydrate yourselves. Water is good to hydrate. It keeps everything nice and flowing. Good. When you pee, empty your bladders. You know what I mean? Don't pee like, God, I gotta go somewhere. You stop. Get it out. Okay?
Let it flow.
Let it flow. And sometimes if you got to sit down to let it flow, sit down on the toilet seat. That's fine. You don't always have to stand up to pee. You're not a man thing. You have to stand up. You can sit down on the toilet.
I'm not letting you do me like that, Dub. You see that? I'm gonna finish that tonight. I'm gonna finish it now.
Right? Drink you some water.
I got something else in this though. We're not gonna talk about that. Go ahead, Lisa.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lisa.
I have glutathione for you for that. Okay, it's a liver detox. Okay, so we could do that too. So yes, pee, have good sexual habits. Make sure that after you ejaculate, you kind of you pee it off and all that those good things.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to
pause,
do that.
Pause. So you're peeing after ejaculation. What's the benefit of that?
Well, you know what? Well, you got to pee, right? You pee, you let it out. For men, okay, you're getting all the bacteria, the grime and everything outside. You want to pee, clear the urethra, clear it out, get it out.
Clear the pipes out.
Clear it out. Pee, clear it out. Yeah, clear it out. Clear it out. You got to clear it out. Make sure you hydrate because sometimes the ejaculate has a smell to it. and it can be told whatever you eat or drink, you actually can smell it.
Wait, the cum has a smell?
You never smell it when I come?
Why would I do
How?
that?
You never, oh, you mean, oh, what?
Collect it?
How would one do that practically?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
why
I'm
maybe?
not
might be a
collecting it
better
and
question.
smelling it. Like, what are we doing?
Wait a minute, wait.
Wait.
Don't put them in the- Wait. You guys never smell your ejaculate? Well, that's a problem because it's coming out of you onto something or somebody.
Or in somebody, but I mean, I hear.
Well, hopefully not, well, wherever you want to put it. Okay, I'm sure you guys masturbate. Y'all don't smell that.
Should it have a smell or should it be more of a
It should
neutral
not have a-
aroma?
It should be a nice neutral aroma. So my thing is, sometimes if you eat eggs or you're dehydrated or you have onions and stuff like that, you smell it.
That's different. That's different. Like if I'm eating a lot of pizza on
Don't
over
you
a
smell
weekend or burgers, like a lot of the saltier meats and stuff
Yeah.
like that, there is something there. I don't like that. So I have
Keep
my little
yourself
fun.
hydrated. Keep your hydrated.
Yeah.
Keep
I
yourself.
have my little fun, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm going back to a clean diet, but I'll have like my 24 hours of debauchery as far as my diet. But then I'm off of it because I don't like
Good.
that. I don't like that.
Excellent. I like that. Thank you for
What-
being honest.
Hold on.
Yes.
That 24 hours of debauchery is just we're eating.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, Jay.
Hold on. This is so.
Come on, man.
Basically, this is since we're talking on that topic. Lisa, how about like you're in the mood, you're getting aroused, you're getting ready to just go on and go to work, but
Uh-huh.
you got to use the bathroom at that time. Should you tell her to hold off and then you just go ahead and empty your bladder, or you just
Well, you have you have golden showers. I mean, if you're cool with that person, what is the golden shower gonna do?
Whoa.
what?
Wait, what?
Hold on, time out. Time out.
You said that you want to pee, right? Isn't that what you want to do?
So
You
I mean,
You
I know how to control those pipes, down there, but I just want to know if it's a good practice to just tell her, hey, hold on, let me just use the bathroom real quick.
It is okay. Just wash up when you're done. Yeah, it's fine.
No, but
It's totally
Dub,
okay.
Dub, 1 second, Dub. I think
You've
I know
never
what
done it
you're
before?
asking. Wait, but Doc P, you're saying to pee on the person?
I
Well,
think
it's been done before many times.
Okay.
Don't you think that you've gotten pee from the woman before? You just don't know.
Oh,
That's the
There you go.
squirting.
Boo, that ain't no squirt. I pee you again.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
We are talk about. No,
okay.
sir. No,
I'm
sir.
not sure enough to handle this conversation.
No,
So
sir.
you're saying
what-
from a male and female point of view, a bit of urethra release is okay.
It is
necessary.
okay. I mean, if it's necessary, I don't mean you must just take that thing and spray the person. No, well, that is not okay.
No,
okay.
Diddy.
If you have a little dribble, something happens, then that's okay. It's understandable. If you have a relationship with
Right.
that person, it's totally understandable. In a nice relationship. No, if you want of a stranger and you don't care, then you can do whatever you want to do. Okay?
Fire hose.
You could spray her, fire hose her, water her down. I don't care. But if you have a relationship with somebody, I think it's respectful enough for you to, if you want to go to step out and go use the bathroom, and then you come back, handle business. We
Well-
probably want you to go to the bathroom anyways. Okay.
To answer your question, Lisa, earlier, 2 weeks ago, I went ahead and had a little physical, had blood work and all of that done. So,
Great.
got
Fantastic.
a nice little clean bill of health. The
Good.
doctor is going to, he did prescribe me some vitamin D. He said, vitamin D deficiency. So I had to step up on that. And then we're scheduling that whole colon thing.
You've got to do it. You have to.
We're scheduling that. I'm not looking forward to it, but it'll be my first time. But let me ask you this: why do you think, though? Because you mentioned this earlier. Why do you think there's a stigma with black males and doctor? Like, why don't we go to the doctor until it's too late?
It's handed down. It's generational. I just believe it's generational.
What are we scared of, though? Is it like a fear or?
You know what? It's the fear of the unknown. And it goes alongside, not for our culture, for black people, it's the fear of the unknown. You can have something totally benign, but your mind tell you something like, listen, I'm not gonna go. I don't want to know. Why me I go if I'm healthy? I've heard it many, many times. I'm healthy. Well, how do you know that? I just had one of my friends had a stroke. And me and him were talking the day before. He was fine, but he had a blood pressure of 200s over 130 something, didn't feel it. And hypertension is the silent killer. You're not going to feel it.
But in
Okay?
that same token, though, what do you say to people who go on a regular, get all the tests done, and still have that stroke? Because I think that's where that's a conundrum, right? Where like he did it, happened to him. Why should I do it?
Well, you know
what
what happens?
Yeah.
What is good for the goose is not good for the gander. That's somebody, and I usually tell people, listen, you know, we are not created equally. You know, the one size fits all, shoe fits all mentality should not be something in our heads. And that is what we've been doing with healthcare. What is unique to Al is not unique to Jay. You and Al could have the same body type, the same height, everything, eat the same food. Yet, guess what? Jay has diabetes, hypertension, and Al is good. So we're all made differently. We're all molecularly different, even an identical twin. So we should never have that mentality like, you know, it happened to him and he was so healthy. I could have said it in healthcare too. I have some patients come in, skinny mini McIntyre, look good, and stroke out just like that. Sometimes we have family history. Sometimes we have genetic problems that we don't know about until it's that time where we actually have an insult. So let's clear the one size fits all mentality, just like how all women are not created equally. You can't treat one woman the same way you treat every other woman. You know, don't treat yourself or the person in your family like that either. It doesn't work.
So a precursor to a question I'm going to ask you in a bit, but I realize that from a standpoint, and people say if I make this comment, they'll say, "Nah, you're bashing healthcare in America." But healthcare in America seems to be more cookie cutter, like it's not personalized to you. So I walk into the doctor and I just get a plethora of tests because that's what they're supposed to do. No one takes Al and say, "Let me check you out as this person, and let me see what you actually need for you." Whereas you go to other countries in Europe and stuff like that, they're more streamlining body scans and they're finding out what's wrong with you and treating that. I just feel like healthcare in America is about making money more so than treating, a person's inflictions.
You're absolutely correct in that respect, but you have not met Shawnette, right? You've met Lisa here, but you haven't met Shawnette. Remember I told you about my 24 years and I've never gone home? I think I take my patients very seriously. So me and you talking now, we can be straight lane and talking behind the scenes. I'm not going to be like that. Okay. And I think people get Lisa kind of mixed up. It's a Lisa and Shawnette, two different people. Trust me. Okay. You're getting Lisa today. You're getting Shawnette later on when I pull you behind the curtains and break it down to you.
What?
Yeah, behind the curtain, wherever you want, put me there. Okay. I can handle myself. So, yes.
You heard that?
So yes, you are right.
Absolutely.
Because, it's like a carousel. You're in, you're out, and some people are like, I'm telling you, I've seen it before. It has happened in my family before. I've had a family member who's been going to a physician since I was a kid, yet he missed that the person had prostate cancer.
Wow.
From a child. And let me tell you something. The word called familiarity. Yeah. Listen, when you go to healthcare, there's no such thing. Me not your friend. We are not friends. Okay? When I tell you about that work, at work, I have no friends. I am there for the patient. So yes, we can be cordial. Hey, what's going on? Life was good. Okay, let's get down to business. How many lab them look? Talk to me. No friends. We need to stop being the yes people when we go to these healthcare practices. And like Al, okay, the doctor tells you, oh, your labs look this, your labs that, da. But did you stop and interject and say, okay, so what should I be doing, da? You ask them, are your insurance money, is you paying for it? You're ask questions.
You're right, but I've seen and this is personal to me, where I've gone to the doctor, I've said, hey, I feel this. And she's like, no, it's okay. And then she says, I can only do this. And then I come back and say, I still feel this. And so I've gone 4 times for the issue. And then on the 4th time, she's like, oh, yes, I see it now. So I know there are a lot of people who grapple with convincing their doctors that there's an issue. So in that regard, do you find it that we should just familiarize ourselves with our bodies to the point where we know when something is off?
You should exactly know when something is off. I should not look at you and say, oh my God, your neck looks like it's big. Because you know what happened? We are so busy with life, we neglect the small stuff. And the small stuff, you know what happens? It becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, oh crap. You know, I noticed that like 4 years ago and I didn't pay attention to it.
It's like
We're
an erection,
too
though.
busy. We're
Small
too
stuff
busy.
gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
It does.
Listen,
The small things, you know, things fester, gets big and big. And we need to just take time. I'm telling you, go in front of the mirror, go from your head, feel your head, turn your back. If there's a spot on the shoulder, watch that. Okay, is it getting bigger? Am I feeling a little bump? Does it have any pain? Is it hot? Watch it. If you need to go just seek help for it or whatever it is, do that. But we don't do that. You know what? Healthcare begins with us. It's not the physician. Yeah. It is us. Yeah, we have algorithms that we all have to follow in healthcare. Just like Al says, they do a bunch of tests. You know what? Because I'm following my algorithm. And if you don't come to me with anything else outside that algorithm, that's what you're going to get, the algorithm. Okay? Unless you say, and if that you go to that doctor and like, listen, man, this is worrisome to me or problematic to me, and she does nothing by, why are you still there with her? Why are you there, sir?
And that's my follow-up question for you. I want to elaborate on that a little bit before I get to some of these testosterone questions that I have for you, because I want you to elaborate on that as well. Talk to us a little bit about how we should be addressing our healthcare providers, the types of questions we should be asking them, and maybe how we should come to the conclusion to where we may need to change them. What are the things we should be looking out for when we're having these interactions with the healthcare provider?
Okay, so I'll give my personal, as if you came to me as your provider, right? Okay, it begins with a nice introduction because I want to know who Dean is. Okay, now listen to me very carefully. 90%, that's my number, of what you tell me, I can make a diagnosis from what you're saying because it is your history. Okay, it's your history. From what you've told me, then I'll order follow-up exams or tests based on what you tell me. Why? Because it's your history. So when
don't lie.
Where you gonna lie for? Listen, I have a patient who lied to me today. I mean, no, because I tell you I know about men's health because I love man, right? I'll talk about that later. But he was there, for example, he was on tadalafil, right? Jesus, I just know these scientific names. We can look them up later on. Okay, we have
Is
Viagra.
That the ED stuff? That's ED, right?
Yeah, right?
Right.
My brain kind of gone right now. You have the scientific names. Anyways, long story short, I said, how are you doing on the medication? Good. So I said like this. Good? Yeah, good. And he just was uncomfortable and I just stood still. Okay, is there anything you want to tell me? No, I'm doing good. I said, how's your energy? Good. How is this? I said, stop lying. And he's like, the eyes like, so what you mean? I said, you just want to, do you still have a soft hard? Now he's getting really uncomfortable because he's a big grown married man talking to a little killer. I could be your your dad. So I said, okay, so if you're having these things, and I asked him on the checklist, he says, might be. I said, do you want me to address any of those things? Well, might be, everything's might be. I said, okay, so I'm going to order these tests. And I ordered them for him. And he was happy. You all right? He's like, no, tell my wife about it. No, this is me and you. I'm not going to tell your wife unless you want me to tell her. No. So when you go to the doctor and you're telling me something, my job is to recognize when you're telling me half the truth. Okay? When you're telling me just a little bit and then I start to ask questions afterwards and you're not answering me, then you know what? I'll be quiet. I'm going to stay very quiet. Eventually, you're going to tell me.
Yeah, I like that. I really wanted to get to that just to overemphasize that a provider could only assist and help you to the extent that you're going to share that information with them.
100%, yes. And then on our physical examination, we might find stuff. Like, for example, I've had many couples come to the office and they're in the office together. Of course, sometimes couples are not the best. We don't want to do them together unless you're comfortable with each other. If they're all comfortable with each other, then fine. But I could tell when they're uneasy. So there are certain things I won't discuss with couples, right? You do them separately. But I've had a guy who had his hepatitis B, hepatitis A, came back positive. And the wife didn't know. I can't tell.
Old HIPAA kicking in, huh?
And can't tell her. But then we had a conversation afterwards. And then I found out that he was doing some things with a male.
Some extracurriculars.
With a male, yeah, because he wanted to explore the other side. right?
Oh
And the
boy.
wife doesn't know, well, and then there comes the ethical dilemma in medicine. But you're bound by, I can only do what I can do to let him know that the actions that he's doing is detrimental to his wife, who doesn't know, and maybe some preventative things that he can do, and maybe stop what he needs to do. But it's a no judgment zone, that you practice. Oh, you only can do what is right, and steer the person in that direction.
Not the pod. We can judge. I'm just kidding.
I judge them in my head all the time, but I cannot tell them that.
Hey, let me just say this.
It happens. You're like, oh my goodness,
I'm talking to the fellas like him. From what I understand, mostly they live in Atlanta.
Hey, chill. Hey, chill. Hey, chill. Hey,
anybody, but no judgment zone. I'm not judging.
I'm catching strays, dog. I'm just chilling. What happened, man?
Mostly Atlanta. Listen, I mean, but I've heard of other places too, Houston and all that. Listen, fellas,
downtown Orlando, but I ain't saying no names. Sorry, my bad. My bad.
Too. Thing is, bro, like, if that's what you into, live your truth, man. Like, why are you doing that and then coming home and?
But can I tell you something, Jay?
Stuff to your.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you right now. It is not that some of them are not living their truths. They just want to explore. Believe me, I have spoken to them personally. And that's what some have told me. Some of them, yes, they're telling lies, and eventually they do get a divorce or they do break up from their relationships. But some have to, this buy business, not going to work. No. And some of them like, I just wanted to know. So after work, it's so disgusting. But after work, sometimes, they'll go to the bar and they'll meet guys, and then they'll go and venture off and do what they need to do. And, I've heard from the other side as well. I've heard from the other side as well. I've heard from both sides. I see them.
But if I can debunk that, go ahead, bro.
Go ahead.
Yes.
It ain't enough exploration in the world. Do you hear me? That Negro's gay. There's no such thing as a bi male. That Negro's gay. And let me tell you something. Dora the Explorer, swiper, no swiper. Ain't enough exploration in the world for me to explore that. That Negro's gay. So he needs to live his gay truth. Ain't no explanation. He's gay. Live your truth and let your wife know that you're gay.
There goes our leftist sponsors. They just left the building. They're out of here. They're going.
Let me not even.
No, but listen, but it's true.
Go ahead, Al.
I mean, you can educate.
No, but here's the thing. I hate when we do that, what you just did and what they tell you. And as Jay said, that's a lie, because no one stands in the middle of a fire to see that it's hot. You know the fire's hot. We ain't going in there. So at the end of the day, a guy does that, man, I just think it's selfish. Like, if you're going to do that.
It is.
So let's say he explores one time, right? Because he just wants to say, we'll see what it feels like. But you keep doing it? Nah, like Jay said, man, he's gay. He just needs to tell her and spare her. You know what I mean? Yes. But at the end of the day, reeling it back a little bit, because he's gay. What's the screenings like you would recommend for a guy? Like, this is January 1st, 2025.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, Al. Now, screenings, I choose a date. Okay, don't go every day of the year. If it's gonna be on your birthday, Valentine's Day, Groundhog Day, choose a time that you can remember. Okay. Now, in my field, I mean, they give me a reminder. So every September, on your annuals. Okay. So you know that your prostate health, and usually the prostate health goes along with your annual exams when you do your yearly lab work. Okay. Your lab work will include your PSA, your thyroid panel, your lipid panel, your diabetes panel, your regular anemic panel, to check your kidney, your liver, those type of things. That's what's included in those tests and examinations when you do your yearly annual examinations. Okay, so that's the blood work type of thing. Now, in as far as diagnostic tests and stuff, we talked about when we should start doing our prostate. We talked about when we should start doing our colorectal examinations, colonoscopies. Okay, colonoscopies we do for you guys at age 45. 45 years old, we start doing, your colonoscopies, or earlier if you have any type of family history. Okay. It's good to have a blood pressure machine at your house, guys. Remember, I told you about hypertension is the silent killer. Sometimes you do feel tension, like a tension headache. Some people describe it as like an elastic band tied around their head. Okay. Headaches are not good, especially if you're not used to having headaches. This is very important. You could be having an aneurysm. You can have a blood pressure. You can have TIAs. TIAs are transient ischemic attacks where you just have little clots that break off in your blood, in your brain until you get a boom, massive one and you're gone. You're out, right? So have a blood pressure machine in your house or something. And if your blood pressure is running in the 120s, the top number, good. Bottom number in the 80s, so good. When you start to go to the 130s to 139s, over 80s to the 89, we are stepping on some hot water. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get a reading one time and those numbers are there, don't be alarmed. Check it again. Now you're going to be diagnosed on 2 separate readings. So you take 2 separate readings, maybe one day, and don't do it when you hype up and you just come from the gym.
Yeah, you're saying the
L, okay?
the
So you
L.
write
Okay.
this with the L. Because what it is that you want to make sure you're taking your blood pressure closest to your heart.
Okay.
So you put the L on the table, feet flat on the floor. Okay? You make sure the cuff is around this part of your arm. With the thing right here, where your artery is, in the middle. Because you know the blood pressure cuff has that little thing that comes this when you pump it, the air goes in it. It needs to be right dead smack in the artery right here. Make sure it's nice and snug. Make sure you can take one finger and put under the cuff. If it's too loose, you're gonna get a lower than normal blood pressure. If it's too tight, you're gonna get higher than normal blood pressure. Just make sure maybe a little pinky can just fit underneath there. It should be running down your arm. If you do the one that's on your wrist here, you know, that the blood pressure cuff on your wrist. Why is it not that accurate? Because it's a little further away from where? Your heart.
Your heart.
So you get a more high reading. And if you do it in your leg, the same thing apply. Okay, so you want to get it as close as possible to your heart, because that's where your blood pressure is going to be measured.
All right, 2 quick questions. Just pause if you can, because you mentioned something of the blood pressure, that if it's 129, 139 going up in that range. Right. So what about if it goes to 119 or 109? It starts going down versus up. Is there an issue going down as well?
Well, it could be an issue going down. One, okay, if you're an athletic, if you're inherently on the lower side, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For example, if your blood pressure is above 100, greater than 100, and less than 120, fine, that's beautiful. Now, if you start go below 100 in the 90s and 80s, you need to go to the hospital.
Okay.
Why do I say that? Okay, if you have a hose, right, you can overshoot, right? And it gets to somewhere that it's not supposed to go. We don't want that for your blood pressure. Or you can just be nice and mellow and it's just right where it's supposed to be and everybody get good. In the area, that's where it's supposed to be nice and good. Or you can be like not so good and you're not getting in the area it's supposed to get. That's when your blood pressure becomes too low. It ain't getting to the areas it's supposed to get. Your blood carries with it oxygen, nutrients that feed your body, essential enzymes that need to do their stuff for normal functioning. If your brain not get it, or your foot not get it, your heart not get it, brother, you're going to drop out.
Understand? So the normal function here would be like sexual activity.
Why you love sex so?
I'm sorry, who doesn't love sex? And
but yes, and if you're taking blood pressure medication and you're on Viagra and one of those medications with nitric oxide in there, your blood pressure can go on the lowest. Please check your blood pressure before you do that. Okay, just a word of caution, because you could get real low boo and you could fall out on that thing. Okay, so just make sure you take your blood pressure. If you have blood pressure issues, okay, you will drop out on it.
And there's a company called Cardia. They make they're not sponsoring us. I wish they would, but that's cool. They make an EKG portable machine. You put your fingers on, you can get a heart readout. Are those recommended to have at home as well? So you can kind of get.
You can, if you're a hypochondriac, you can. That's fine. That's no problem. You know.
Wow.
I mean, you can. You know, we have some people who are very health conscious. I know you're one of them. You can get it, but in as far as if it's FDA approved for accuracy, I am not able to tell you intelligibly about that. but you want to get something that is FDA approved, and of course, nothing beats you going to the doctor's office and finding out. Because sometimes we do this, we're not doing it properly, and don't say, "Oh, I have the machine at the house." We don't know if it's FDA approved. If it's not FDA approved, then you could be doing all wrong, right? So just go and get it the right way. If you have it there as a monitoring tool, fine, but don't use it as a diagnostic tool.
Does the FDA get anything wrong?
Sorry?
Does the FDA ever get anything wrong where they approve something that's not good for you?
The FDA gets everything wrong most times, and just like us people. That's why a lot of things go through testing and trials and stuff like that before it comes to the public. And even then, you do get black box warnings from stuff afterwards. So I think as time evolves and as things, your technology gets better, that we can have more stuff available to people for those type of things or whatever it is. But yeah, I think so. Medications too, all of them have side effects.
True. I want to jump into some testosterone talk before we get too far in. It's a part of your practice. Maybe start with just an overall concept of how that relates to men, and maybe start to begin to demystify some of the maybe false information that might be spread through there. Talk to the men that might be listening, younger, going into older men and older men, about what testosterone is, why you may need some services relating to that. Talk about that a little bit.
Okay, before I do, I would want you tell me something that you know about testosterone. Let's start from, what do you know about testosterone, Dean?
It's something that's naturally occurring in males, and it's something that distinguishes us from females, and the absence of it, certainly in large amounts, could be very concerning to our optimal function.
Perfect.
Is it produced in the testicles?
It is. Testicles, semen, your brain, Jay.
Dub, you gotta say something too now. We didn't take all the answers. I don't think we did.
I got nothing.
You got nothing? Okay.
And that's okay, because we got Lisa Pat on the show.
I'm just here to learn.
So my understanding, and just real quick, it helps with muscle development, bone density type things, blood cell production, and our favorite, libido.
Fantastic. That is excellent. And you're all right. Both of you. You hear that, Jerome? Because Jerome, Jesus.
Yes.
Jerome,
that's bad. That's really bad. I don't know. Hey, I go explore.
Jay, oh my God.
We mentioned libido and Jerome.
Where would that be then Jerome name came up, right? Okay. So So it's a nice hormone that the Lord gave us, both male and female. Is more proportion in male, is what makes a man a man. Okay.
Wait. Reel back. Rewind. Something you said. It's also in women.
Yeah, in very small quantities.
All right, for some.
Just like men have estrogen in very small quantities.
For some, because that explorer might have a lot.
Oh boy.
But or you might take it exogenously.
Okay.
All right. So it's a hormone that's made, your testes. It all has to do with these chemicals that happen. Just like a woman has estrogen made in the pituitary gland. Okay, the pituitary will signal to your testicles to make, the testosterone, right? It's the whole algorithm of things that happen. You're talking about luteinizing hormone. You're talking about FSH, follicle secreting hormone. All those hormones take place in order for your body to actually make the sperm and make testosterone. Okay. So it's not just like, oh my God, my balls make testosterone. It's a brain function. Sometimes men with pituitary problems in their brain, there's a little gland in their brain that makes these hormones just for women. If you have a pituitary malformation, or if you have a pituitary adenoma, it can affect your testosterone and your semen production. So those things.
How might a man know if they have a gland issue? Is that something that's going to come up in lab work? Is there some signs he should look out for in his day-to-day?
We could, with the lab work, we'll do this hormone levels, the follicle secreting hormone, the luteinizing hormone. We'll do a testosterone level for sure. If some of those levels come back zero, for example, your FSH or LH comes back zero, one, it either tells me that you've been on steroids using testosterone, or you have a pituitary adenoma. And some men who come to you like, oh, I've never been on testosterone, and I look at their labs, stop tell lie, okay? Because your labs will tell me the truth. So you can tell all the lies you want. The blood work will definitely tell me. So don't tell me a lie. It's almost like somebody who has diabetes or tells me, oh my God, I've been so compliant with my diabetes, and I take your blood sugar in the office and you're below 100. You're like, below 100. Then I check your lab for the past 3 months and you're running 200. Your A1C is 7 or 10. Don't lie. I'm going to find out. Okay? Just don't lie. Just tell the truth. I'm here to help you, right? I'm here to help you. So those hormones will give me a lot about your status, right? And those are just empiric things. Those are just numbers. So you have primary hypogonadism, secondary hypogonadism, and adult onset, right? So those are things that when I do my consultation, we could go on. I'm not going to tell you everything I come in and get my money if you don't come to the office. So I'm just telling you these primary things, right? With the overview of testosterone.
Yes.
Okay. So as men age, just like women, you go through andropause. Women have menopause, right? And you lose that.
When might a man start experiencing this andropause? Roughly.
The andropause, to be honest, when you get into your 30s, 40s, you're hitting there. Once a man, twice a child. You could get it older. You could get it younger. It all happens to do with what the individual guy. When we're talking about individualism, but we know that over time we lose these things. You're not gonna be Mr. Machismo all the day of your life. I mean, you can try. You can use your pumps and all you want to use. But
any early warning signs that are most common you can think of?
You know what? You don't get that morning hood. You know what the morning hood is? Y'all know the morning hood, right? When they get up and are strong, ready to go, that morning hood, right? You lose the motivation that you guys used to have, right? If a guy comes to me with a testosterone level of 400, right, that is within normal limits. But if he says, listen, man, Lisa, I'm just not having that motivation. I'm so fatigued. You're in the gym, you're trying to pump it, and you're like, damn, I can't even get a few little muscles. What's going on with this? You're working out, you just have a little belly, right? Like, what's going on here? So all of that has to do with testosterone. You're depressed, you're fatigued, you're not getting your morning hood. So those are some constitutional symptoms that even though your testosterone level is within normal limits, I'm going to push you up because you do have some symptoms that tell me that you need a little boost, right? So that's where I'll come in to help you out. We also have
Al or I'll. You said I'll.
Yes, I help you out. Anybody,
I'll not helping you with your morning hood. But
you have a hard. You're trying to get hard and you have a soft heart. The soft heart, like you're there in the moment.
You put them limes down, Al. That's what you need to do. You put them down here. Don't pick them back up. I don't want to see them anymore. Put them down.
Don't get shriveled up when you start to take testosterone. But I'll tell you about that. So, it happens. You want to get that strong heart. You're taking a little bit of Viagra, that thing. And, it's still a little bit floppy. It's still not the way it's supposed to look or feel, or you just have it. You're just like, you see the woman and you come right away. Like when I was 20 years old, that didn't happen. So some of those things that men would tell me about. So then you have testosterone and we have behavior modifications that we could talk about, cognitive behavioral therapy that will help too. So it's all about the mind too.
In these last few minutes, I definitely want to make sure we touch on you're on camera. We can still see you. We see the headlines. We see the health reports about sex health in America. We see the statistics, the STD numbers, etc. As a family health practitioner, you've probably heard it all. You've probably seen it all, and you're very comfortable talking about these issues, which everyone might not be. So maybe share with us some concerning areas that you're seeing from the sexual health practices of Americans from day to day.
What it is we're loose in this country, super loose. Okay.
What does that mean?
Super loose meaning, people double dip, we cross contaminate. Okay. Everybody want to go from mouth to butt to every hole. You cannot do that. That is just not good practice. Okay. Is
there a safe order that exists at all?
No,
or not really?
Don't cross-contaminate. There's no safe order, but just don't do those things.
A lot of women not going to like that, by the way.
Which one not going to like that? Oh, which one?
The ones that they want you to explore the whole universe.
And you do it?
I'm making the point now. Like they want it all. That's what they want. So what do you say to the ladies that are like, no, I would like this, that, and that? What do you say to them?
You say no. Unless you want to go back and come to me in the office and like, man, I'm feeling a little bit scratchy, itchy here. You want that?
Or why is this thing on my lip?
I don't want no problems in any of that stuff.
So don't do it. Why?
Let me tell you something, Lisa.
Yes,
you just made me feel great that outside of Olive Garden, I've never tossed a salad a day in my life. You just made me feel so great for that decision. I have never tossed a salad, and I never will.
Don't do it.
Let's say never, but I'm telling you, I'm confident in myself. And if any woman doesn't like it, I'm sorry if I'm Mr. Vanilla, but I would never toss a salad.
We're gonna keep it a buck here, Lisa. That is something that in this modern day, modern freedom, my body, I do whatever I want my body. Women talk about their enjoyment, about their multiple crevices being pleased. They do. So that's why I wanted to bring that up with you.
Can I tell you, is there anything wrong with that? There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. My thing is, if that's you, then that's you. Okay? I'm always going to have a lot of money in my practice if that's you, because you're going to come to me. You understand? The problem is when you go to another brother and another sister and everybody, and then guess what happens? We just replicate bugs and bacteria and STDs. Why do we do that? For fun? Yes. It's not worth it. And then these women have fallopian tube problems. They end up with some ovarian problems, cervical problems, and it's just nasty. Can we just talk about it? What is pleasurable in that? What? But again, if that's what you want and that's how you do it, that's fine. Just be safe, okay? Don't go like this. We all do that. This for what?
What did you just demonstrate for us? I'm not very clear on that. What does that mean? That motion.
Tap. You know?
Are you playing drums or what's happening?
Don't y'all tap?
Oh, you mean like from the porn? Like tapping it on the pearl and then sticking it in? We should be doing that?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can? Okay. Because I'm about to say sometimes I like to channel my inner Wesley Pipes. But
No, but you got.
Nobody should be laughing at that unless you know Wesley.
We have to be very safe, you know, and to, you know, we can laugh about it. To be honest, we can laugh about it, but in the world that I practice, I've seen a lot of things, and I've seen the behind the scene things that you guys don't see after you're done. You know, so we have to be safe if we're gonna be healthcare providers. You know, we can talk all the talk. We can talk about everything, every different scenario. But at the end of the day, is it safe for you? I mean,
true.
Do you want to put your life in constant misery and agony for the next 20 years if God allow it because of one night of pleasure? Why would you forfeit that because you want to say you did it? But again, if that is what you want to do, you can do whatever you want to do. You know, there's nothing wrong with that because it's you. But from my standpoint, and sometimes, you know, in healthcare, you want to be ethical. You don't want to do any harm. But I have to do the right thing because I came into medicine to do no harm. Yes. Okay. And I want my patients to have a safe space, like how we're talking here tonight, where they can discuss these things with me and they could tell me anything. And then after the joke is done, then Shawnette steps in. Right?
I love that. And I want to respect your time, bros. Do we have anything else for Miss Lisa?
That's pretty cool. I almost feel like we need to come back and do
part 2 of this, you know.
And and it's like great minds think alike, that type thing.
We have a lot to discuss.
But as we close out, though, if we're going to do that, then tell us a little bit more how to reach out to you, Lise, how to contract some of these services as men and even women. Women need some of these services too.
Absolutely,
so
100%.
How do we get you?
For men's health, like you guys know, it's my heart because then the next time we could talk about growth peptides, which that's another great area. We're going to talk about HCG. Listen, there's so much to this men's health that I want you guys to know. That when you go out there to these clinics and they're offering you things, you know, like Lisa said, nah, let me just hit Lisa, because I'm gonna tell you the truth, Okay,
Yes,
I rather
yes.
not get. My brother's probably going to kill me. Would say this: the money, but I want to empower you guys. Not because we're African Americans or Black. Okay, we're going to listen to everything they have to say. Now, educate yourself, empower yourselves. I'm telling you, go out there equipped. Okay, don't let anybody take you for no fool. I'm telling you, because the world is a bad place, and they will, and they can give a good talk and it sounds good, but not everything that glitters gold.
And
okay?
sell you a lemon. And
Yeah.
sell you a lemon. Doug, go ahead.
Right.
My thought today
Yes, Doug.
is you mentioned the morning hood or the morning wood.
Yes.
Whatever you call it. That's important because joy cometh in the morning.
Yeah, weeping may endure for the whole night, but in the morning.
Yes.
Something's probably going to come in the morning. And with that, Lisa P. Let's give it up for Lisa P. Yes. And if you're watching on, go ahead, Miss Lisa.
Just my tweets at S Rose Health on Instagram, on Facebook. P05-504-7041 is the business number. Call me at any time. We could talk too.
Yes. And if you're watching on YouTube, we're going to drop her handle in the description. We'll put the number in the description so you can get in touch with Miss Lisa P. And if you want a part 2, go ahead, let us know in the comments what the issues and what matters we should talk about in the part 2. But until next time, this is the Are We Clear Yet posse, and we out.
Peace.